Welcome to the Southridge Films podcast. I am Ryan Sheets, joined by my co-hosts, Janae Muchmore.
Hey, everyone.
And the colossal screw-up that is Jeff Rhodes.
I want to die.
So, we just got about
43 minutes.
43 minutes into a podcast, and turns out Jeff wasn't recording his own voice.
I would like to say this is the first time something like this has happened, but it's not.
It's not.
And this is why Ryan moved to Florida.
Yep. Specifically.
to get away from my...
These shenanigans. No, he's fine. It's all good. It's fine.
He's fine.
It's all good. It's all good. So, what were we talking about?
We talked about everything. Yeah, we went through
literally
a lot.
Everything under the sun. Everything. It was a great conversation,
From
and now it's all lost to the
pre-production.
ether.
Yeah,
I mean, we could post it, and there would just be crickets during Jeff's speaking portion.
Yeah, yeah. And Janae and I'll sound crazy.
Just talking to a ghost. Oh,
yeah. It's just like, so, how are you today? Oh, that's so good.
I think that's, he's called a podcast, me, Janae, and a ghost.
Janae and a ghost.
Yeah, we just do it every single time. I just won't record my voice, and the listener will have to, make up what they think I'm saying. It's like, it's very artsy. It's
it's a choose your own adventure. So we have been talking for the last 43 minutes about The Pumpkin Man, our new feature film. And for a little context, if this podcast seems to be coming out of nowhere, this is a rebranding of the Southridge Films Creative Cafe podcast. I felt like it was a bit too restricting, so I decided to just kind of make a whole new podcast. But it's still the same thing, but not,
And maybe it'll be more consistent.
Maybe.
No promises.
Maybe. We're very busy. Making a feature film isn't easy.
I feel you.
But that's what we're doing. That's what we're making a feature. We're making it happen.
How many kids from Ball State can say that they're making their own feature, 5 years out of school?
I mean, a lot of them could probably say they've worked on a feature, but not.
They don't make the big shots. Yeah, they aren't calling the shots.
Yeah, I'm calling all these shots.
Yeah, they're not Mac Daddy ballin' like we are.
Are we?
I mean, we rewrote the script. We did pre-production. If I didn't mess up the audio, you would have talked about the audition process and how we were judging people.
Yeah. Where do we want to dive back in? Because
let's start back at last night.
Yeah. So we had our first shooting day last night. And it was last night was probably the closest this film will get to how we used to shoot short films, because it was only 4 people there. It was very low key. It was just one scene in our apartment, and it felt very much like shooting just a regular old short film, except the story wasn't progressing at all. It was just a little tiny nugget of the story. But I thought it went really well.
I thought it did too. I think this was the perfect scene to start on because there was a lot less pressure on you.
Yes.
With just one cast member here, and we were just filming a nighttime scene. And I think we kind of set the expectation, okay, this is her first time acting with us, our first time really getting the script moving and bringing it to life. So no pressure. If all else fails, we just reshoot it. But I think we're both pretty happy with how it turned out. And Jeff got to see the rough cut of it today. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts?
I liked it a lot. Like we said, the camera is a monster. It looks so much better than anything you've ever shot before. No offense.
Yeah. No, none taken, because
each quality, right. Like every film you've done, the quality's gone up just a little bit. Like
yeah. I would agree with that. And that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, that's natural progression and whatnot.
Yeah.
My question is so I know when we were going through the table read and you kind of mentioned it on that, I don't know if you posted that video yet.
Not yet. It'll probably be out before I post this.
Okay. Got you. So you made the reference to, how when we read the script, it was one thing, but then hearing the voices come off, it was kind of like full circle, and like you're like, oh, this works. Now, actually seeing Barbara in it acting as the main character, there was like an extra like, oh, this is like now it's like real that's going down now. Like, how did she fit to like what your like expectations of her was going to be?
The funny thing is, she messaged us knowing that like she didn't fit the person we initially described when we first put the posting out on Backstage. And we love that because she showed her eagerness to be a part of this, even though she didn't have the qualifications we were looking for. And she reached out and said, listen, this sounds like a really fun project. I'd love to be involved in it. And I understand that I may not be the person you're looking for, but I just want to shoot my shot anyway.
Yeah.
And she did. We saw her audition. We were pretty much sold at the audition. We gave her some of her character's sides to read. She blew us away. So I guess the message to everyone who wants to be a part of something like this, don't be afraid to shoot your shot, even if you don't have the qualifications or the experience that you think you may need to do that. So I think she's really going to bring the character to life for us in a really good way. And I'll let Ryan take over because I kind of cut you off.
No, you're fine. Like, it's funny how sometimes talent can bring even more to the character than what you wrote. Yeah. So there was a lot of little like quirky things that Barbara would do last night that I'm like, that just that fleshes out the character. Yeah. Just because of these little tiny things that, like, you know, at one point she's holding this pumpkin mask and she sets it down and then she pats it on the head. Like just little things like that, you know, like you don't write something like that. Like, like that's not something that I thought of, and
that's just part of her.
Or like she kind of like scampered across the bed at one point because we were shooting in a tight space and she had to get around, and we were just continuously rolling, but it was just funny. Like, and we both really liked that added touch.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool because with all of the other short films that we've done, you know, I've always written the parts for the person that's going to play it because I usually ask first and say, hey, do you want to do this project? And, you know, if they say yes, then I kind of write it to that person's personality. Yeah. But, you know, this is the first time that we've created characters that somebody has brought to life. And it's like, it's just really cool, honestly. And it's cool to see Barbara understand what we were going for and build on that and do little things and add little things to the character to just make it more realistic. I thought
she goes to is she like in a theater major or anything? Like she like understands and like does acting? Yeah. She studies it? Okay. Yeah, because I would say, you know, in the previous ones we've had two theater majors. Alex was a theater major for the third one. And then was Olivia a theater major?
Yeah, she was. Too?
Yeah, so
and then Sylvia in Demon of Fall. She's theater major as well.
Theater majors, man, they just get it.
They're supposed to. That's their job. That's what they're there for.
I can't wait to meet her. I can't wait to meet the whole entire cast, to be honest. Yeah,
she's really good. And like we said earlier, like we haven't met the entire cast, but we're planning on doing something like, and I actually got the idea from Aliens because the Colonial Marines in the Aliens film, they were all supposed to feel like this really tight group of mercenaries, and you know they've been working together for years and years and years, and they're supposed to have all this history. So what James Cameron did was he filmed the whole film, and then the scenes in the beginning where they're like on the Sulaco and all, you know, joshing around and being buddy. They filmed those last because the cast had spent that entire time together getting to know each other, and they all felt really comfortable. So then when they were filming the scenes in the beginning, it wasn't fake. They were just comfortable with each other.
That's why my boy's the GOAT.
Yeah,
go.
man, James Cameron, man, he
Avatar 2
rocks.
coming out this year. That's awesome.
Is it?
That's what they're saying. I think Disney means they want their money, so it's going to come out this year. But no, that's a good idea. I was thinking something similar for my show I'm making, getting the whole cast, doing some drinking games and whatnot. Get to really know each other, because some of those drinking games, like the truth or dare ones, you'll learn about some stuff. You'll learn some stuff about somebody. I'll tell you that right now. I'll just leave it at that. You'll learn some stuff you didn't think you wanted to learn. But then you get intrigued and you're like, I want to learn more about it.
I'm not brave enough.
Ryan, you already know everything about me. So
do I?
We lived together for a year. I think
just
that's
1 year.
Yeah,
just 1 year. Just 1 year.
Just 1 year.
That's all I freaking needed, to be honest with you.
It's crazy how it was just a year, and yet like we did so much in that year.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
did.
It was 2 years.
No, he lived with Jorge in the apartment, and like towards the back end of the school year, that was your sophomore year, my sophomore year.
So
at least.
it was like sophomore year. I hadn't met you, and then summer, and I was living with Jorge all of sophomore year. Then the summer came around, and then the new school year started, and then in I can't even remember what that video class was called.
The one with the Asian professor.
Just the whole like program. What was that called?
Oh, they called it something. Oh, you're right. Don't care.
I don't remember what it was called.
I forget.
Don't care.
But we met there
Because I was late for class, and the only seat open was the one next to you and Ben and Alex.
Hey, you know what though? Not only did it lead to us all living together, but y'all sat next to the right person, because I was helping y'all in premiere.
That's so true.
that day, I'm like,
Ryan's been my editor since day one.
Literally since I met him, I have been helping him.
Literally, those Photoshop projects were like the green screen one. I was just like, what? I'm still mad at that green screen project. I should have got an A++. You all sucked. Mine was amazing. I'll say that right now. But I just remember that Photoshop project, like trying to like the lower thirds, and me and Ben were just not getting it, and you were just like, scoot over. You're just like, you do this.
I scroll over and just crack the knuckles.
Yeah, you and Alex were just doing just fine. Me and Ben were like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, why did I choose this as my profession?
Yeah, I was, when we were at Ball State last weekend, I was just showing Janae. I was like, so this is where Jeff was an idiot.
He did not say any of that.
Did you guys go into
those moments?
Like, you guys go into Letterman?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know if it's to be open or not, like to the public.
Yeah, it like the atrium was open, so I was like,
I just walked through.
I'll go upstairs. Yeah,
I know the secret tunnels.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what were we talking about?
Yeah, back to the Pumpkin Man film.
Yeah, back to the Pumpkin Man. It all started at Ball State. It all connects.
Yeah, it really did, because everything happened at Ball State.
Yeah.
Got everything.
Don't judge us.
But before we got interrupted by my screw up, you mentioned the poster.
Yeah, let's talk about that poster. Let's talk about that poster.
The poster's pretty good.
Shout out to Casey Booth for making this awesome piece of art that I'm looking at right now. Just a freaking awesome poster.
I like it because it's not like, I don't know when in Hollywood this trend started happening with the face smashing up, like colossal midpoint montage. Like, everyone does it now. Like, I think someone pointed out to me on a YouTube video. I'm just like, oh my God, you're right. Like, every single one looks exactly the same. There's not like a lot of originality anymore.
Yeah.
And then you had like, you sent me a lot of these. Is this the same one who does the witching season, correct?
No. So he's a friend of the guy that does the witching season.
The posters for them?
Yeah. So that,
got you.
I don't know how to say his name, the guy that does the witching season. I know that his like, he goes under the name Say to Start Design.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a friend of that guy. But Casey, yeah, the guy that did ours is Casey.
Yeah. Well, just like both their styles, like they're the drawing style, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know who I told it. It might have told it to you. It reminds me of like a murder mystery novel, like for like a book.
Yeah, like Goosebumps or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that.
That's exactly what I wanted. You know, it feels very much like an old 80s poster, and it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted something, and like for me, I wanted something that you were gonna look at and be like, yeah, I want to see what that is. Like it gives you just enough to get you interested, but not enough to tell you like
anything about this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like I feel like it gives, like if I saw that like in like walking through a movie theater, all these posters, and I see that one as a horror fan, I'm just gonna be like, yo, like what? Like that looks so bad. Like his fingers are going through like a pumpkin man, and I feel like it perfectly represents the direction you wanted to go with the new story and the new era of the Pumpkin Man. Like he looks really menacing, how he's like just looking over this cornfield. Yeah. And he's just like, I'm a god.
Yeah. I really think he just knocked it out of the park. And it was crazy. First I drew up this terrible sketch in notes on my phone, and like there was no detail. It was just like the bare basics. And then I did it on some like paper, and it looked a lot better, but it was still just a really crappy sketch. Yeah. Just trying to give him the right idea, and then he sent me back that rough sketch, and I'm like, how is this not the final? Like this could be the final. And
but we're not artists. We don't really do that. So like what's good to us is just like, no, that's shit. Like wait till I finish it, and it's gonna be better. And it was. No,
it's incredible. Like go check out Casey's both Casey's gallery on his website and his store. I got a few prints from him because he's so good.
Yeah.
But I did tell him all of my movies going forward, I'm only going to use him because he's just such a nice guy, and just, oh man, like I cannot speak highly enough of how great he was to work with for the poster. He was really awesome.
Well, I do have another question. I've been asking a lot of people on my podcast have been coming on, and you know, we've had a lot of artists and musicians on the podcast this season. And I like to ask them what their dream would be. So like, if you were making no knocks to the cast that we have for this movie, this cast the table read was amazing. But if you had like a dream scenario where like money wasn't an option, who would you like cast in which role? Like out of like the actors working in Hollywood right now.
Oh man, that's tough.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
I think I know who I would want to play Jenny Scott.
Okay.
Nancy from Stranger Things.
Okay. I should have seen that coming.
Oh, what's her name? Natalie Dyer or something like that?
Yeah. Natalie Dyer.
Oh, okay.
Man, that's
you know really... who I'm kind of...
and this is kind of like a
this
preview.
This is just an initial, like... off the bat thinking of someone who would fit Catherine's character pretty well. Emma from the Scream series.
She would.
She wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah.
But the look that we're going for.
Do you mean Emma or Audrey?
No, Audrey.
Yeah, okay.
Audrey.
I was going to say, that's Bex Taylor Compton, I think. I think that's her name. I don't know.
Okay.
And then for the Pumpkin Man, it's an obvious choice.
Right.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh. I was gonna say Shaquille O'Neal, but okay. Just the biggest person I could think of.
No.
Wouldn't need stilts with that.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's something that I just love about a cast of people that nobody knows, because with I'll not that this is a bad thing, but I'll use Ryan Reynolds as an example. Mm-hmm. I can't see Ryan Reynolds as anyone but Ryan Reynolds. Yes, I know that like he plays Wade Wilson and as Deadpool, and that's the character's name, but to me that's not Wade Wilson, that's just Ryan Reynolds. And in every film that he's in, I don't know the character's name. I'm just, yep, that's Ryan. That's him. So I honestly would probably, even if money wasn't an option, I would still probably go with some no-name people.
Fair enough.
Or some lesser known people. Yeah. Just because I personally, I like that more.
Well, maybe, I think. Oh no, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, just that I would maybe try to get some people that are well known in the horror community, not necessarily in Hollywood in general, but people that some horror fans would be like, oh, well, cool. I'd like to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going off of that, I think you're right. Now thinking about it, like, I think it's with anything you do, the people who are most unknown and are kind of like more hungry for it. So I feel like it feeds their performance better. Like, you take any kind of musical artist, they're probably their first 2 albums are going to be the best albums that they put out, and the rest are going to be because they kind of get used to that. Like, same thing with people say like the NCAA is better to watch, like the college basketball, because they're not getting paid. Like, they're not stars yet. They're still working their way to be that. And so I feel like there's something kind of cool and like, I don't know, just noble about getting like unknown actors and kind of like getting the best out of them. Cause like right now and like helping them get to, I'm not saying that Homecoming Man won't do it, and I'm saying it will do it, but I'm saying that I feel like from the auditions that we watched, I think we got a nice, pretty star-studded cast, and they're like, a lot of them, I know a couple have been in like other projects. I don't think anything too big though, correct?
Yeah, and speaking of that, this is actually Barbara's first acting gig ever.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Other than like high school theater stuff.
Yeah. And
it's like her first on-camera production?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow.
And that's part of why I wanted to give her this chance, because it's clearly something that she really wanted, and she absolutely deserves it, because I mean, I was blown away by her audition tape. I thought it was fantastic, and just
she had me at the Hamilton jacket.
That
I'm not
is
gonna lie to you. I don't even know if I officially watched her audition tape the first time I saw it. I was just like, oh yeah, she's in.
Yeah, Hamilton.
Like, Hamilton Jack. And then when I went back, I was like, okay, maybe I should actually, don't be biased, Jeff. And then I think the first thing she said was like something from Finding. I was like, is this Finding Nemo? Oh yeah, she's in. I didn't even finish a monologue. Oh yeah, Finding Nemo. Yep. In. Let's go.
She did a great job.
I got some questions for you, Janae.
Okay.
Because I know you come from a news background.
Yes.
And so, can you tell me the differences between producing the news and producing a feature-length horror film?
Deja vu.
So when you're producing like a news story, it's very much like you're just there to capture the moment. The moment is happening. You're not trying to create anything. You're just a witness, and then you have the honor of sharing someone else's story through your own perspective. And that's like raw emotions that you see. Now, when we switch over to the Pumpkin Man and stuff I've done with that, I get to be more creative because I do get to add some fictional aspects to it. It's very much the same. You're still trying to tell a story. It's just different approaches. Like I take a very hands-off, like a very objective approach when it comes to like doing a news story. But when it comes to doing horror stuff with Ryan and Jeff, it's very much, okay, I like this. Do you guys like this? And we'll toss around ideas and different things like that. So both are very enjoyable. I do like having the best of both worlds kind of in this situation.
Did you ever think you were going to, like, not just film, did you ever think you were going to work on horror?
No. The first time I watched The Conjuring was in college. And it was at a buddy's house. He was not in college. He was a graduate. But it was some people I worked with. And we got over. And we decided to start it pretty late at night, like 11 o'clock. And then at that point, the second one had already been out. So we watched The Conjuring and then The Conjuring 2. So we wrapped up probably at like 2:30, 3 in the morning. And I was too scared to drive home. So I crashed on his couch. I wasn't the most scared though. That was like the first true experience I had with horror. I mean, being in college.
Okay.
There were a couple other like little instances. Like I remember my brother and sister for their 8th grade science fair, I think it was, they did a stupid science project on who's more scared, guys or girls. And they would take like the blood pressure after a scary scene. However, the 3 movies we watched were The Sixth Sense, not scary at all. Prom Night, also not scary.
I don't think I've ever seen Prom Night.
It's really bad. And then I think it was that Jennifer Lawrence is in it, The House at the End of the Street or something.
That's a psychological thriller, not really a horror.
Yeah. But like those, it was like funny horror, like so bad you laughed and stuff like that.
So the results were inconclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ryan really did introduce me to a lot of horror films and horror aspects. So no, I never thought this would be what I ended up pursuing.
Okay, so you're fairly new to horror.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
I have you have sparked a question that I have for now everybody. I don't know if you specifically said yours, but like what was your first foray with horror? Like what's the first horror film you remember watching?
I would probably say The Conjuring.
Really?
That
in
night
college?
in college. Yeah. I mean, other than those stupid, not really scary
Yeah.
videos my brother and sister had as part of their science fair project, we just weren't a horror household. I think I saw Carrie in high school, and that was not scary.
The remake.
The remake?
just-
I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
It was more disturbing.
Yeah.
So, I would say The Conjuring was probably my first big horror film.
It's a great one to start with.
It's
that
probably
really is
my
like a
favorite.
top. Yeah, that's really like
no.
I'm feeling sorry for you. That's like your first like that's
It's just like you start up here and then everything like you watch
Right?
Friday the 13th and you're like, what am I? What is this?
I don't think I could do it backwards, going from The Conjuring to like slashers. Because
Yeah.
The Conjuring to me, grew up in the church, so demons gets me at home. So like I don't like that shit. And that whole I told Ryan this, that pan up to Bethesda, what the fuck's her name?
Bathsheba.
There you go.
Bethesda is a game developer.
Whatever. That's probably the worst jump the loudest I've ever screamed in the theater in my life, guaranteed.
Yeah.
That scared the hell. And to start with that, oh my, you're a brave soul.
Well, that's why I didn't drive home that night. I stayed on the couch. I was like, it's too dark. The trees look creepy. No, I'm good.
So Jeff, what was your first?
The first one I can remember, there's 2 in my life, I would say. One's not really a horror movie. It just got me onto it scared the shit out of me, and it was the horror themed, and that was the Michael Jackson Thriller video.
Oh yeah, that scared me as a kid.
Growing up, I remember specifically watching my grandma and grandpa's basement in Arkansas, which is already a creepy setting because it's like in the woods and whatnot. It has like one of those screened-in patios, and this was creepy. And just watching that, and when he turns around with the yellow eyes, and I'm just like,
that's not right.
No, this is no, and then over the years I come to this is a bop. Why was I scared? But I think one of my other earlier, I'd say introductions into horror was gonna be it's H2O. I remember long
H2O.
drives. Yeah, Halloween 20 years later.
Halloween H2O.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a water horror film that I've never heard of?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you call it? What do you call it?
I just Halloween H2O.
You saw Halloween. I just call it H2O. Yeah.
So since you just said H2O, I'm like, what movie is that?
Yeah. No, I just remember watching that and just like on the drives, because we used to drive to Florida for family vacations.
Yeah.
And we had the van with the DVD player in it, and I just remember watching that movie. Like my family would be asleep, other than my dad. I had the headphones on in the back seat, just watching this little screen, and just like being freaked out. And I'm just like, I'm in a steel death trap on the car. I can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
And I think after that, I was just like, okay, like I'm intrigued now. And that kind of led me to, I kind of worked my way up. I'm like Janae, who started at the top. I went from like, thriller to like slashers. I watched Halloween H2O. I was like, okay, there's more Halloweens before this. So I went back and watched that. And then I was just like, there's this like, there's the big three. Who are the big three? Freddy. Who's Freddy? Fell in love with Wes Craven, and that led me to Scream. And I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I love Scream. Yeah. And then, then they got The Ring, all the early 2000s horror movies, and that's kind of my trajectory of like my passion for horror. I think I started out with, if you want to go back to it, Michael Jackson, because he's the key to everything. Michael Jackson got me started on my horror career, I would say, and then H2O. What was yours? Did you see? I know your favorite is Halloween, but like, is that the first one you saw?
So mine's a little weird, actually, because I hated horror films for a very, very long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually
a scaredy cat.
Not anymore. And the reason was because of the first. It wasn't even that I watched it. It was just like the first clip that I ever saw of a horror film. My uncle was living with us at the time, and when he was living there, we had I think we had 2 TVs set up. So he was watching something on the main TV, and I was playing PlayStation on the smaller one. And he's watching something, and it's like this guy in a shower, and I'm like, what is he watching? And then, like, through a series of events, the guy ends up getting strangled to death on a clothing wire. And it was funny because it honestly triggered a memory, Jeff, when we did the horror quiz on your podcast, because that was one of the questions.
Oh, was it?
And it was Final Destination. And the first time I saw that, and it was because it was just an accident in the movie. I mean, like in all those movies, it's like death is coming for you, but it's an accident. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my, like it wasn't just like, it wasn't Michael Myers. It wasn't a demon. It was just like life. This person just accidentally died. And I'm like, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. And then it took me a long time to come around to horror films. I think around 8th grade is when I really was like, you know what? How scary can these be?
I think that's me too, because I think when YouTube came out, I think that's when I went back and started watching older clips.
Well, I had dial-up, so YouTube didn't happen for me until 2017. So
got you.
So no, I know I had seen bits and pieces of different horror films. Like I remember seeing bits of Nightmare on Elm Street on TV, and Chucky, Child's Play on TV, and I still wasn't brave enough, but I like knew who those characters were and what the franchises were. But I remember like 8th grade, I was at Target with my dad, and I saw the Blu-ray for Halloween, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a little whirl, and I watched Halloween, and I'm just like, well. My life's changed forever. I know what I'm doing the rest of my life.
No going back.
Yeah. And then I binged all the Halloween movies, and I got a box set of all the Friday the 13th and watched all those, and watched all the nightmares. And then my life was really changed when I watched Alien for the first time, I think in my freshman year of high school. And I'm like, xenomorphs.
I can't do Alien.
Well, that's because you suck.
No, I enjoyed Aliens because me, I'm an action boy. Thank you.
Alien was too slow. I did not like it.
Okay, if the fiance says it, that's different. I can't say those things, but Janae can. So there we go. I mean, you said you're preaching to the choir, sister. I am with you.
I know Ryan's feelings are very hurt right now.
Other than the chest burster scene and like maybe the last third of that movie, everything else just kind of runs slow for me. and I was just like,
It's a snoozer.
Yeah.
Listen here.
Hey, Ryan. How about this? You want to see him get really mad, Janae?
Sure.
I prefer Prometheus over Alien.
I'm fucking done. No, you sack of dirty fucking laundry.
I love Idris Elba.
How dare you?
I love Michael Fassbender. He's a good robot.
No, he sucks. I'm so angry right now.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like Prometheus either. But if I had to choose between watching either one of them, I'm gonna watch the movie that I know the actors in, and I enjoy their performances.
Here's a quick little question, Jeff, for you as to why Alien's better. Okay, this is a really simple little thing. Okay.
Okay.
What's the plot of Alien?
What's the plot of Alien?
Yes. As simple as you can make it. What's the plot of Alien?
Alien goes on a ship and they have to survive.
Okay. What's the plot of Prometheus?
Alien comes on a ship and they have to survive?
Not even close.
What happens in Prometheus? Shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, you got me there. Does it? No, the alien doesn't come out until the post-credit scene, doesn't it? What? Isn't there like a disease that kills somebody? Shirley Theron's there.
Yep.
Shit, right?
Yeah, just changed your whole perspective. So
I honestly can't remember a detail of that movie.
Don't come at me saying that Prometheus is better, because you can tell me the plot of Alien, but you can't tell me the plot of Prometheus. Anyway, back to the Pumpkin Man.
I got another question for Janae.
Okay.
As I try to think, like, ask a question, while also kind of contemplating what happened in Prometheus. So I know that in a Pumpkin Man 3, this is probably our Ryan and I's biggest production to date. We had at the biggest shooting day, 20 people on set. And
I think it was closer to 30.
30. Yeah, okay, it's a long time ago. I've been drinking since then. But I know that Ryan was director. I was director and producer. I was producer, writer. But we also kind of both acted as EP. Ryan would work on scheduling and locations. I would work with trying to find locations and scheduling and stuff like that too. And I feel like now all that we split that responsibility between the Pumpkin Man 3, and I feel like this is what's the pressure like for being an EP of like the project this big? Because I know when I was doing it with Ryan, I was still like it. Ryan knows it. I'm pretty sure that movie gave me high blood pressure trying to schedule everything and get the locations. So like, how have you been like working with like your position as EP / producer of Pumpkin Man, the feature?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I want to know your answer.
So I kind of took the response. I think Ryan thought he was going to be responsible for all this probably up until a month ago. Oh. And then he started stressing. He's like, I don't know that I can do this. I could tell that he was very on edge about it. And I'm like, Ryan, I'm here to help. Like, what can I take off your plate?
She grabbed me by the collar, pulled me close and said,
I did no such thing.
And said, I got you, boo-boo.
No, I'm like, whatever you need, that is what I'm here for. I let him be the mastermind, and I kind of do, the stuff maybe he doesn't like. I'm better at planning stuff, so that is a strength of mine. That is a weakness for him, yep. And that he was stressed about. So I haven't really put a lot of pressure on myself. We also haven't started coordinating bigger shoots like that yet. Gotcha. So I'm sure that the pressure will get to me, but I think you just have to keep in mind that we're all here to have fun, and while we do want this to be the best it can be and to make sure we're producing something high quality, that there's going to be people who don't show up, and we just have to roll with the punches and be adaptable. And I'm trying to approach it as, okay, these are the dates Ryan and I are available. Mm-hmm. You give us, what dates within that time frame you're available. And then that way I can easily go in and say, okay, these 4 people are available and we have 5 scenes with them. Can we do all 5 scenes with them in one day while we rent out the place? Do we need to split it up into 2 scenes one day, 3 scenes another day, and rent out the place, 2 days?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I think that will be a better way of approaching it. I don't know how you guys did it in the past, but I could tell that it was not organized because Ryan was like getting major PTSD just thinking about all of this. So, and I think a big part of that will be like Sir Henry's. I think they're going to help us a lot for the Pumpkin Man Festival. I'm hoping that they kind of help draw people in as well, just to be extras. We'll have to see what that looks like, but I think that's going to be the most challenging to coordinate, but I think we'll have a lot of support from them when it comes to providing scare actors for some of the scenes and just helping us fill out the scene.
Yeah, I remember the Pumpkin Man 3, the big shoot was the one at the haunted house with Michael and all the extras and things like that. And to answer your question about how we got locations and scheduling and stuff like that, I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I think it was just a lot of texting, say, hey, can we come here? No? All right.
Moving on.
But honestly, you scored the Muncie Theater, local theater downtown. That was awesome. We got to shoot there.
Yeah, I just emailed them and I was like, hey, we want to shoot here. Can we shoot here? And they're like, can you not show our logo? And I'm like, no promises.
No promises. And I think we need a woods scene. And I was just like, yeah, I got a pretty wealthy friend who has acres in his backyard. We're going to ask him. And he was like, yeah. And then I think once we got there, he had a gator. They were like, can we use this?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, sure, if you want to.
It's funny. The Pumpkin Man 3 is like quite literally the definition of you really shouldn't write to what you don't have.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But you put it all together. I mean, there's always a way to find locations. I will say with horror, it's so much harder to try to sell getting a location because it's like, okay, it's a horror film, and then that turns people off. Yeah. So
you just gotta say psychological thriller.
That too.
Oh, they don't like that either?
Would that...
I usually
then they ask for the script, so they get to see the script, and then
it's classic horror.
Well, I mean, this
I like
this
to be
is
upfront with people.
This is why, yeah, me too, and this is why I usually don't get the locations that I want, because in the subject line of the emails that I sent, it just says buckets and buckets of blood.
So they know what they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, it's enough for them to click on it. They're like, what?
Yeah,
if it doesn't get redirected to their spam inbox.
Yeah, I will say this time we found horror fans locally that have some pretty solid locations that we could be able to use. So that's kind of been our in. Like, they already like horror. We're going to go for them and see, what we can possibly work out with them. So
it's really amazing how many people have just wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like just not even getting paid or anything, just are just excited to be a part of the project and do it. And like, it's almost humbling, not almost, it is humbling, to, after all this work, people are looking at it now and saying, I mean, they've made 6. So
they must know something of what they're doing.
Yeah.
You can't have a Pumpkin Man film without a dedicated, haunted house fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the first 5 had, the Oregon Trail.
Yep.
And now we got.
I would have loved to have done something for Demon of Fall, but I couldn't justify it with how small the story was. Mm-hmm. Even though like back then, we were planning a sequel to the short, and then I wanted to do a haunted house, but not now, or not for the first film. But
no, it's fun to have. I feel like if you really like, I think people secretly always want to be like in some kind of entertainment form, like either movies, like music. People want to do that. They want to be artsy and creative, and I feel like. When people hear like, oh, they're making a short film, people want to jump on that. I feel like there's a lot more people who are more creative than they know, and they want an opportunity to kind of like show off their creativeness or whatever. And I feel like we're just giving that to the people. You know,
well,
like,
it really helps that like the popularity of Halloween over the last not the film, but just the holiday over the last like 5 years has exploded. I mean,
has it really?
It really has. I mean, there's people that celebrate Half-a-ween now, halfway to Halloween. Like,
oh, you're like, definitely in some communities that I'm not in. I didn't know that was the thing.
No, I mean, like there are a lot of people that just really want to celebrate Halloween year round now. There's shops, there's internet stores, like, I mean, even here in Orlando, we have a year round haunted house.
There used to be a second one.
Yeah. I mean, like it has really exploded in the last couple of years, and just seeing the support from the Pumpkin Man and seeing how many people are following it and interested in it, it's really cool.
Well, and the cool thing is you guys had a pretty big following back when you were at Ball State. I mean, the Pumpkin Man 3 had 22,000 views. People, kind of have come to look forward to your films. And even though Ryan is now in a new state, the excitement's still there, and we're just growing that excitement in Florida.
Yeah.
And hopefully the people in Indiana who first heard about it through Ball State or through, was it Frog Baby?
No,
we didn't get into Frog Baby.
We didn't get into Frog Baby.
Ryan submitted it. They said no.
Wow. Ouch.
I'm sorry.
That wounds is now opened.
No, your premiere up in Indiana, the people who found out about it through that, like, hopefully there's still passion for that on their behalf.
I just remember when we were trying to do that. And I remember like we were thinking about like how we're gonna do like do the old fashioned way of like making flyers, which I think we did. We did flyers. I'm pretty sure. Did we?
I don't remember doing flyers.
Maybe I don't know, but I just remember going to Brothers and going to the Chug and just talking to random drunk people and just saying like, dude, give me your phone. They're like, what? Like, give me your phone. Something. I just go to YouTube and I just literally hit subscribe. I'm like, there you go. And I want to say around 100 of those like subscribers on nautical films came from like me just taking random people's phones at the bar and just like, we got a movie coming out, be on the lookout for it, and just walking off. I call that old school marketing right there.
Well, you remember what we were thinking about doing? Because there's that bridge in the Letterman building. We thought about getting a giant banner printed out and hanging it from that bridge and like Pumpkin Man 3.
Since we're on the topic of film festivals, are you you trying to shop around the Pumpkin Man feature to a film festivals?
Unless
maybe like South by Southwest or like Sundance or at the big ones.
It's not going to Sundance, Jeff. My ultimate goal isn't film festivals because you could get into a film festival and it do really well, but that's not going to get the most eyes on a film. So obviously I'll go the film festival route, but if I can get it streaming somewhere,
true,
it's going there.
I feel like if we can put it on the feet like the big one, South by Southwest, Sundance, they're like $110. It's not too much, and if we get the right pair of eyes on it, don't have to have a lot of eyes, just the right pair of eyes who sees the potential in it. Yeah, then we can maybe and then.
Yeah, there's decisions to be made there when it comes to what is going to be the best for the property moving forward. And unfortunately, that's going to have to be a risk we take when we make that decision because...
Sure. What's your number? What's your number? I've asked you this. I want to get this on the record. I've asked you this question many a times. Times.
My number?
What number would it take for you to sell the IP?
Okay. There's a difference. There's a big, fat difference between selling the IP and licensing the rights. There's a humongous difference.
Okay, I'm specifically asking for you take a big payday and then it's out of your hands. I'm talking about IP.
So
would you ever sell the IP?
No.
You would never.
No.
And
hello, my name is who's that dude for that? I'm big wig cat guy from the Fox. Oh, it's Fox. I guess Disney now. I'm from Disney. I want to buy your Pumpkin Man for $25 million. You're not selling that.
Here's the reason, Jeff. And it's specifically because maybe a few years ago I would have said something different. But if I sell the IP outright and walk away, done with Pumpkin Man,
yes,
then I'm fairly certain that after a certain period of time, a specific law doesn't go into place or go into effect that would benefit me in the long run. So this is what happened with Friday the 13th. This is what happened with a lot of different IPs. When you license the IP to let's say Universal, you license something to Universal.
Okay.
They will own the rights for however long you agree upon it, and they will own the rights to the films that they produce.
Yes.
However, the rights end up reverting back to you after a certain amount of time as the writer.
Yeah.
So if you go and sell the IP, like, take a $25 million payday, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay. I've made $25 million today. I go buy a $25 million house. Well, now I don't have $25 million.
Well, you got to be so wise with your investments, but
I understand that, but licensing it.
Yes.
I would rather take a gradual payday than a one day payday, and just because then if it takes off and it gets huge, then I'm going to be sitting there going, they're making money off of my idea, off of the thing that I've poured the most effort into.
See, that's where we differ, because honestly, I just want, like, if it was like me, like a deal, I would just say, hey, I just want that tag in the credits that said characters created by my name, so people just know who I am. Mm-hmm. And then, take it. I don't care. I pay off my student loans. I will invest my money wisely, become like a stock market guy, make billions like Elon Musk. But you're right. Okay, I get it. I get it.
How much do you know about the stock market, Joe?
I know -0 about it. But yeah,
we're film guys, Jeff, not stock market people.
No, but I understand. I get your point of view, and I understand where you're coming from. Yes, you're right. Licensing would work out, and I'm just a very greedy person in general.
But also, like, you have to think about more than just films, because like
merchandising, all other
merchandising,
stuff. They do spin-off movies of characters,
video game tie-ins.
Like all I want is my name. I'm more interested in my legacy than my financial.
But
being.
how many people see that little line in the credits? I never watch the credits,
bro. That's the only reason I know who Stan Lee is. Characters created by Stan Lee. I'm like, Stan Lee's this nice guy. Well, he'll start the movie.
But you would rather you would rather sell it all outright and then just watch your creation get turned into a cartoon.
Yes, because I can always make new characters. Personally, that's how I think about it. Like, I think I made the character. He did well. Oh, someone else wants to take care of him. It's like a child. You know what I mean?
Jeff,
that child turned 18. Now it's out of my hands.
Jeff,
I'll make a new child.
Jeff,
huh?
Do you know who Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is?
Was that the dude before Mickey Mouse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know the story?
No, I don't. I don't know Disney like you. So just tell me this damn story.
Walt Disney sold the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Okay.
To Universal. And he basically got cut out. Like, he it completely destroyed his entire studio that he had built up until that point. And that is why he was so protective of Mickey Mouse.
Well, okay, that's a little different. That's a little different than our situation, because we don't technically have like a studio. Mm-hmm. We have Southridge Films, which is, us as a whole, but we don't have like a business side. We're not an LLC or a corporation.
However, the Pumpkin Man is all we have.
That's not true. We have a loan.
Shut up.
We have Letters of Wailing Creek.
So selling that would be selling our most valuable asset.
Okay. Like I said, I get it. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I get it.
He just wants me to pay off his student loans.
Ryan, that's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. I don't care if this thing makes millions of dollars. Just give me my $60,000. Okay, that's all I care about. Just give me my $60,000 and we call it a day. I'll walk from here right now.
This is descended into chaos.
I'll just walk away a happy man. But yeah, so I mean, since we're on the topic of it, I know we've been running long. Would you want to make any other shorts on the channel into a feature?
Oh yeah. I think, like, once we get closer to the tail end of this, the Letters of Wailing Creek, it has a much larger story that I haven't told yet.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot more to that I would love to go down, but I think really the only other one would be Plastic.
Dude, dude, we got plastic. What are you talking about? So Pumpkin Man, we can. You know how much stuff we can make off of plastic? We turn into a musical.
Well, the original idea for Plastic was it was plastic but spelled with a capital Z in the center, and it was going to be a zombie comedy thing where regular guns don't kill zombies, but for some reason Nerf guns do.
That is a great concept for a movie. Why are we making that movie?
Copyright Ryan Sheets 2022. Don't steal my idea.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was the original. There is a short script that I wrote with that concept instead. And actually it was starring you, me, Jorge, and Ben, because for some reason, I think Alex comes over and she's a zombie, and we're like, oh my god, and then Jorge goes into his room, comes back with a gun, and you're just like, where did you get that? And you and I were holding Nerf guns, and Alex is approaching me, and I'm just like, I shoot him with it, and it works.
That's such a cool concept for a movie. You should have went with that one. That one's so awesome. That's hilarious.
It was way too much, way too far past planning. What we could have done.
Yeah, makes sense.
But that was the original concept. Was
I never
plastic.
knew that.
Yeah,
I never knew. Dude, we need to revisit that.
We can definitely revisit that. I've always wanted to.
That's one that needs to be done.
Yeah.
It needs to be done. I was just telling Paige the other day about how I want to pull the Tarantino and just make 10 movies. Just call it 10 and wrap it up and just call it a day. And I think the first one I wanted to do was loosely. You seen the movie Nightcrawler?
Yes.
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, it's a great movie. You should go see it. But it's kind of loosely based on that, but it's not. It's okay. I'll tell you this concept. It's basically these two basically. It was I had me and you when I wrote this. I wrote it in college. It was me and you trying to make a feature length action movie, but we're broke and and so I think at one point we our characters see a high speed cop chase and we film it and we put it we basically start putting short films in scripts to real life events and using real life events backdrops as our action scenes. and then it just went from there to going to like getting into legal trouble about like we capture a murder or something, and we use it and we put it into like it got crazy. The concept got crazy, but I was like, I want to do this. It sounds like a fun idea.
We do it now. All right, we got the lineup. Get ready, Southridge Films. In the next couple of years. First is Letters of Wailing Creek, then Plastic, and then
whatever that was called.
Whatever it's called. All righty. Well, keep an eye out on the horizon for those movies. So, sorry for you all watching on YouTube. The camera died, so whatever.
Mine's
so open. that's gonna be it for us today. I think we're gonna try to do this more consistently because we do want to post more on the channel. And I know I've said that before, and I'll say it again. It might not be true. Jeff, you're just posing because you know that our video's off. Okay,
yeah.
So just want to make sure. Yeah, in beautiful 4K. Yeah. So before we go ahead and go to Instagram and follow at the Pumpkin Man Film, as well as at Southridge Films, and Jeff has a podcast as well. You can check that out.
Yes, it's called Unapologetically Stupid. You can follow us on all social medias, even TikTok. Just type in Unapologetically Stupid. We should pop up.
Yeah, it's funny stuff. Yeah. So with all that out of the way, we'll I hope to graze your ears again.
Oh man, I don't like the way you phrase that.
Well, that was the point. Alrighty. Bye.